Hey, what's up, everybody? Paul Austin Jr., aka Boy Green. It's time to react to the Jets' very painful loss, 37-15 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. An immediate reaction. We'll give you our takes. We also have a full column in the YouTube description down below. Let's roll.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Good evening / good morning, everybody. I am Paul Austin Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to the postgame show. About 2 hours after the final whistle, the Jets lose 37-15 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's a lot to get into on this game. Let's go through it. I'm alone. My father went to sleep. I don't blame him, but he'll be joining us in about 6 hours live for Boy Green Daily, and we watch the game together. He'll react to that game tomorrow. We'll have a lot more to say then as well. But to me, the Jets had the game by the balls. They were up 15-6. That's a 2-score lead, 9 points, and the Jets had the ball with under 2 minutes to go in the first half, and they got the ball coming out of the second half. And we're like, oh, baby, what can we do here? There's a chance to put in a kill shot on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And all the momentum changed when Aaron Rodgers got too aggressive, too risky, too greedy. Use your word of choice. Steelers intercept the ball. They immediately cash in a touchdown instead of going into the half with at least a 15-6 lead. The New York Jets had a 15-13 lead, and all of a sudden the momentum felt like it flipped for the New York Jets in that game. And man, the Steelers weren't using their timeouts. The Jets could have basically gone to half with a 15-6 lead, and who knows how all of that changes. You have a 2-score lead with the ball. Obviously, the final score is 37-15, but obviously this game, the Jets had their opportunities before blowing it at the end of the first half and the second half. And that leads us to the Garrett Wilson backbreaking mistake. So Aaron Rodgers throws a bad ball. There's no question about it. The Steelers kid made a great play on it, but obviously Aaron Rodgers got risky. He got greedy, and he threw a ball when they should have just either ran out the clock or were more conservative to get the first downs, and then you have options to play with. He just got too aggressive on that throw at the end of the first half. Steelers cash in. Coming out of the second half, I believe there was a 3-and-out. Pittsburgh gets the ball. Jets get the ball back, and Garrett Wilson is wide open. And Aaron Rodgers hits him right in the chest, doinks up in the air, intercepted. It's brought all the way to the 1-yard line. Xavier Newman gets hurt on the play. By the way, I am happy to report, while there was a lot of shitty things that happened tonight and early this morning, the good thing I can report is blessed be he, Xavier Newman, who was carted off the field in a very scary incident, did not appear to be moving his extremities on the field. Melissa Stark did report before he went to the hospital. He was able to squeeze the hand of a medical personnel, a medical professional. And after the game, Jeff Ulbrich said that all the tests came back negative, and he's traveling back with the team. So blessed be he. That looked incredibly scary and concerning. So I'm happy for Xavier Newman that he's okay. And that play happened on the wild interception, which stinks. But Garrett Wilson is supposed to be a straw that stirs the drink for the New York Jets. He's supposed to be a foundational piece on this offense. And Garrett Wilson not only is expected to make big plays, because that's what big players do, but he's also not supposed to make critical mistakes. And not only not catching the pass, but it doinking off his chest and completely flipping the momentum is absolutely devastating. Garrett Wilson, his excuse, or the excuse that was thrown around him, was, well, in his first 2 years, he played with shitty quarterbacks. Well, okay, you have Aaron Rodgers, a 4-time NFL MVP, throwing you the ball. Then the other excuse is, well, Garrett Wilson is Batman, but he doesn't have a Robin. There's not a strong number 2 on this team, so all teams are focusing in on him. They acquired Devontae Adams. They have Alan Lazard, who, by the way, heading into tonight, had either a share of the lead or sole lead. No, either it was like a shared lead of the touchdown leader in the NFL. And of course, you had Mike Williams, you have Tyler Conklin, you have Brees Hall, you have all these guys. So Garrett Wilson's excuses of no quarterback, check. Other weapons, check. There's no more excuses anymore. Garrett Wilson needs to be a guy that can be relied upon in big moments. Now, I want to make this abundantly clear and maybe obviously. Garrett Wilson is not the only reason we lost this game. So I want that to be clear. I am picking that on top of the momentum shifting interception from Aaron Rodgers at the end of the first half, which again, Aaron Rodgers called it after the game a quote unquote shitty interception. So I want everyone to know that I'm not blaming Garrett Wilson, obviously, for this lot. Oh, it was all Garrett Wilson. That's not what I'm saying. Now, I am saying that completely changed the momentum there in the second half, which the Steelers rode out to this dominant victory over the New York Jets. But it's just frustrating, man, because Garrett Wilson is supposed to be one of the top guys on this team. The other thing that's incredibly frustrating, and by the way, you guys can call into the show if you'd like live here. It's a little after 1:30 in the morning. We'll be on for a little bit here, and then, like I said, I'll be back on in like 6 hours for Boy Green Daily. But feel free to call into the show. That is youtube.com/BoyGreen25. If there's something you want to get off your chest. I also see comments in here from you, Cameron, Christy, and others. I'll get to those comments as well here and answer your questions on the show. The other disconcerting thing, and this will be addressed with my father in a couple of hours on Boy Green Daily. Perhaps the most disconcerting thing from this is after the game, Aaron Rodgers said that the team felt flat for this moment. And that to me is unacceptable. This is Sunday Night Football. This is do or die. The Jets entered this game at 2-4. They had a chance to turn their season around because if you win this game in Pittsburgh, you go to 3-4. And the next game up for the Jets is at New England, a team you've already beaten. And quite frankly, that's the last time you look great prior to this 4-game losing streak. So then you beat them. All of a sudden you're 4-4, and we can breathe and say, okay, Hassan Reddick, which was exciting news earlier today. Oh, he's coming back. Oh, we got Devontae Adams. All of this exciting news was supposed to be paired with a win to make us feel great about it. But now at 2-5, I mean, good Lord have mercy. It's not officially over. Obviously, the Jets have not been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, but their margin for error is so razor thin now because of a head-to-head loss to Pittsburgh. That could come back to bite them in the playoff conversation if they even are lucky enough to get into that conversation down the line. You lose to Denver. That's a conference loss and something that can come back to bite you. You lost to Buffalo at home. That's another one that could come back to bite you. Now, we're just looking for wins right now. The playoffs, Jim Boyer Sr., playoffs, what are we talking about here? But that's the thing to me that was most disconcerting is that for us fans, like for me, I'll speak for myself, I invest a lot into this team, and I'm not looking for a cookie. I'm not looking for anything. It's my choice. I do a daily New York Jets show. I'm wearing a New York Jets hat. I'm wearing a New York Jets shirt. I bleed New York Jets. My entire life revolves around the Jets. I do podcast about the Jets. I write about the Jets. I have family names and nicknames and everything. Boy Green is because of the Jets. My house is the Jets. You get the point. I am JETS until I'm dead. And for someone who invests so much into the team, this Sunday Night Football game was everything. I was so fired up for the game. I was talking about, I'm here in Atlanta right now, not at my home office. And I was so fired up for this game. To hear that the players weren't fired up. Like Aaron Rodgers said, he was fired up because it's Sunday Night Football, but he sensed the energy around the team wasn't. I don't understand. I don't understand how the moment certainly didn't get you fired up. I don't understand the circumstances where obviously this team is in this position because Robert Saleh was fired for a lot of reasons, but one of them was the energy wasn't there with the team. It was, they were flatlining. They came out slow and things of that nature. One of the reasons that Saleh was fired. So to hear that issue is remaining is disturbing, quite frankly. Jeff Ulbrich is the interim head coach. This is his chance that he may never get again to prove that he should be a head coach, whether with the Jets or some other team. And to not see that fight, not to see that fire, not to see that rallying against Pittsburgh is disappointing, disgusting. embarrassing, pathetic. And that's incredibly frustrating. Incredibly frustrating. So, to me, the momentum shifter in the entire game was the end of the first half and beginning of the second half. Really midway through the third quarter, that decided the game. The Jets blow an opportunity to go up more than 2 scores or settle on the 2 scores. They're only up 2 points. And then the end of the beginning of the second half, halfway through the third quarter, Garrett Wilson interception, and boom, the wind was out of the sails, and the Jets just never fought back. They just never fought back. And that sucks for a team that had everything on the line. Absolutely everything. All right, let's go to a couple of comments here. We go Cameron Christie on Facebook. I appreciate it, Cameron. Thanks for sending in the question. Paul, where do we go from here? I love this team, but I'm just as lost as this team is right now. Do we have a chance of fixing it, or do I move on to the next and have my fun for a couple of months? Yeah, the NBA season is getting started in a couple of days. You should enjoy your Knicks, who should be a lot of fun this year. Cat, Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, and the whole Mikal Bridges, all of them. It should be a lot of fun. It should be a really fun. Josh Hart. It should be a really fun team. So Knicks fans, I hope you really do enjoy that spiel. Again, this was a devastating loss. They're 2-5. It's not great. The good news is you're playing New England next week. If you lose that one, then we're having a very different conversation next week. But that's a get-right game for the New York Jets. But quite frankly, you're running out of time. Even though you're not even halfway through the season yet, you're only 7 games in. I say only, relatively speaking. Time is running out, man, because your margin for error. I mean, here's the math of it, folks. Here's the math of it. The best the Jets could be right now is 12-5. And that is if they won every game remaining. They'd be 12-5. Is that going to happen? I don't know. It seems unlikely. So that's if you won every one straight, you get to 12 wins. So is it 11? Is it 10? Is it 9? You understand what I'm saying? So, like, as Aaron Rodgers said tonight, to go on a run, you need to win one. And that one has to be New England. That is a non-negotiable. Absolutely no question about it. You lose to New England, and the season is basically over, if I'm being honest. Some people would argue the season's over right now. But the positivity and the optimism, again, where do we go from here? Devontae Adams is only going to get more assimilated into the team. He was acquired midweek. I mean, we had to have realistic expectations for what that's going to look like. So put that in a pocket, obviously. Another thing here is Hassan Reddick. That was the news from technically yesterday, quote-unquote, morning of Hassan Reddick ending his holdout. He's coming to this team. He will report to the team tomorrow morning. That's incredibly exciting news. Will McDonald, got his 8th sack of the season. Let me double-check the stats. I don't know if this will be updated with today's statistics, but let me do a quick discount double-check. Well, yeah, I don't know if these are updated with the games. Let me see if this is true. Yeah, these are definitely not updated yet, so hopefully that updates tomorrow. I'll have to keep an eye out to see, because Will McDonald entered this week 2nd in the league in sacks. Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson didn't get any more, and Will McDonald was tied with Dexter Lawrence. I'd have to double-check if Dexter Lawrence got any sacks today and all that other jazz. But long story short, Will McDonald got his 8th sack of the season. He's looking great. And Hassan Reddick, of course, is only going to help him when he eventually joins the club. So that's exciting when he returns. Officially, like to the field, I mean, because, he could be in great shape, but he has to get into football shape. I don't know if it's realistic for him to be able to play against New England. TBD. But that's why there's optimism, is that this team, there is flashes. And that's kind of what's frustrating, is how many flashes there are, because, no one in the fan base or anyone watching this show or listening to it, whether it's live or after the fact, wants to hear the word close. We've had enough close. We've missed the playoffs for 13 gosh darn years, for God's sakes. Close is not. It's a result-oriented business. We want to see wins. And with all the hype and expectations heading into the season, it can't be understated or overstated how disappointing the start to this season has been. Perhaps one of the most disappointing starts we've ever had to a season based on expectations, because this was supposed to be our year. We have a healthy Aaron Rodgers. We have this, we have that, we have this, we have that. But the excuses are over. It's time to stop the excuses. But why you should be optimistic and think about it in a positive light. Again, I don't want to wake up my father. I'd be screaming right now. Is that Devontae Adams is going to get more incorporated. Hassan Reddick is going to get more incorporated. This team is obviously stupidly talented. And that's exciting. Is that they have the pieces. But it's enough of the pieces. This team is a, you hate to use this term, but the Vince Young dream team. It's dream team on paper. If this was a Madden roster, we'd have a different conversation. But this is supposed to be a team, and they don't look like a team. They're not playing like a team. They're not, apparently, they're flat. It's unacceptable. This team needs to maximize its potential, and it has not done that so far this season. Because when you're 2-5, you look back at the 2 wins, you say, so what happened there? New England, you blew the barn doors off them. Tip of the cap. You play New England next week. The other one you squeaked out. That was Tennessee. That was a game maybe you shoulda, coulda, woulda lost. Let's be honest. And this would be a 1-win football team right now. It's easy to go to the other side. The Vikings, we coulda, shoulda, woulda won that one. The Broncos, we coulda, shoulda, woulda won that one. This game. This game. Like, we need to stop doing that. And I hope the team has stopped doing that inside the building, because no one gives a shit about close anymore. It's about getting it done. So, Cameron, a long story short, enjoy your Knicks. They're going to be fun, but balance the both. I don't think you can close the door on the New York Jets yet. Everyone will have their own opinion. They will have their own take. Get a quick sip here, if I may. Nothing like a swig of Mountain Dew at 1:45 a.m., you know what I mean? Yeah. Some people are going to close the door on this season, and to each their own. Me personally, I'm a glass half full guy. Always have been. Always will be, I imagine. I'm not closing the door on the season. But if I'm being honest, this New England Patriots game, I thought the Steelers game was everything for all the reasons we talked about all week. But this New England Patriots game is absolutely do or die. You lose this game, you drop to 2-6. And then you're heading into a short week against the Houston Texans, who barely lost to the Green Bay Packers on a last-second field goal. As optimistic as I am, that looks incredibly difficult. So, long story short, there's a glimmer of hope, but it's a very small glimmer, and the Jets have to prove it. Let's go to some other comments here. Joe, he says on Facebook, Rodgers is too old. He doesn't do play-action rollouts. Well, I'd love to see more of that. But here's the problem, Joe. The running game sucks, if we're being honest. The Jets' running game sucks. They only attempted 15 carries. There's only 15 rushing attempts for 54 yards, 3.6 a clip. They're not committing to the run game. They're not able to consistently run the football, which, of course, takes away play action. And that is such a sneaky part of Aaron Rodgers' game that we are just ignoring because we can't run the football. And we thought that we had the talent heading into the season. Breece Hall, 12 carries, 38 yards. Isaiah Davis had a rush for 12 yards. That must have been in garbage time. I wasn't paying attention, so take that one away. So it's really 14 carries for 42 yards. And then Braylon Allen had 2 carries for 4 yards. I mean, it's just not there. It's not there. And that's unacceptable. The team has to have balance. We can't have Aaron Rodgers carrying this team. He had 39 passing attempts tonight, 2 picks. One was on him. The other one certainly wasn't. Garrett Wilson, it bounced right off his chest. It bounced right off his chest. But we have a lot of talent. It's time to deliver. And I think the deliver is the running game and commitment to it. We haven't seen it so far this season, Joe. I think play action is missing from this offense, of course. But I think that's what we need. OG Jets fan 85. Greg the leg kicks ball so low he can easily tell the difference between him and Boswell. Yeah, a blocked kick. Brutal. Actually, technically, we had two. The blocked extra point on the questionable leverage call, and then we had the blocked field goal in general, which was an absolute Debbie Downer. As soon as that happened, you're like, boy. Boy. So, yeah, his confidence obviously is down. His confidence is down. Melvin, I'm pissed, boy Green. Please talk me off the cliff. And you should be pissed. Like I said, I was pissed for the game for obvious reasons. And then I hear after the game that the team was like lacking fire. And you're like, the heck? Like, I can understand a team losing to another team. Hey, it happens. It's football. Teams are going to lose. Okay. But not having that fire for a game that clearly had your season on the line and Sunday Night Football, Devontae Adams, the Hassan Reddick news this morning. How in the hell were you not fired up for this? Disgusting. So I will hopefully talk you off the cliff by the end of the show because I'm an optimistic guy, but you should be pissed. I'm pissed. We should all be pissed. I think it's okay to have these emotions. You should because we care. We invest a lot in this team. People who are commenting in at nearly 2 a.m. on October 21st, for God's sakes. Of course you guys are committed. You know what I mean? Eventually I'll talk you off the cliff, but we can have some emotions about this. That's totally okay. I love the positivity. Amid _ Hayoka. Undefeated from here, JETS, jet. Yeah, I'm always going to believe in this team no matter what. But damn, they gotta rev the engine, baby. Now, the good news is, well, good news, bad news. I was at the last Jets win. It was a New England Patriots game. Now, I failed to report I will not be in New England for the next Jets game. So I don't know if I'm some good luck charm or what have you. I've been there for half of the wins this season. It's sort of a joke because it's 2 wins, but it's the truth, actually, as a matter of fact. So undefeated from here, I like the vibe, Amid. I like the vibe. They have a chance. You look at these next four, as I see we get a couple of questions about that. We'll also go to the phone lines here in a moment. Eric says they will win the next four. Those next four are at New England, home for Houston. That's a Thursday night football game. At Arizona, and then home for Indianapolis Colts. We're back on Sunday night football. And then obviously you have the bye after that. That's week 12. And then you come out of the bye. You got 6 games left that you come out of the bye at home against the Seattle Seahawks. So they will win the next four. I like the chutzpah, Eric. Let's see some other chutzpah from our guy, Gary, who joins us here at nearly 2 a.m. What's up, Gary?
It's only 1 a.m. where I'm at.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah. Well, I appreciate the time zone difference where that applies. Gary, good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, as a Longhorn fan, a Mets fan, and a Jets fan, this is easily the worst sports weekend of my life. I can't think of a single worse sports weekend than this. Like, 0-3, 3 blowout losses. 2 of them are season ending, and the Longhorns losses and season ending. But clearly, you're not the best team in the country. Like, clearly, Georgia's better than you.
Wow. Wow. That is an unfortunate pile of good Lord. Yeah, that sounds like the worst I've ever heard. Wow.
I just I don't even know why this is so bad, right? Like, I was really planning a trip to New Orleans. I'm like, New Orleans is like my favorite city in the world, and I love New Orleans. And I was like, the Jets are going to play in the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Like, I'm going to get there, and I'll figure out getting a ticket once I get there. Like, that's really where my mind space was on this team. They're 2-5. Their season ended the same day the Mets season. This is over. I love the last guy. I love his optimism. They ain't winning no 4 games in a row. This is over. Like,
they've lost 4 in a row. It's hard for me to, because like, can they go on a run? Is it physically possible? Of course it's possible, but they've shown no signs. That Aaron Rodgers each week is saying that it's the little things. It's the little things. And I agree, it is little things, but they're different little things seemingly on a week-to-week basis. But they're not fixing the little things. Identifying the problem is half the battle. Fixing the problem is the other half of the battle. And that's the thing that's hard for me to like flip it and say, oh, okay, here are these issues. Here's how they fix them. Because before it was the penalty issues. And then in this game, Obviously, there was a variety of problems that happened here, but let's see what ended up being the penalty. So the Jets had 5 penalties for 60 yards or 50 yards, excuse me. So they had their fair share of some penalties here, but that wasn't even the problem this week. It was all these other gosh darn mistakes, which pissed me off from the end of that first half to the beginning of the second half, and now the Jets are at 2-5. It's just ugh, ugh, ugh.
When I was 14, I think, I fought Andre Berto in the amateurs, right?
Okay.
And it was just so blazingly fast, like you couldn't even, it was like avoiding daggers all day, right? And after the second round, it's amateurs, 3-round fight, after the second round, like, coach sits down, looks at me, he's like, do you want to quit, right? And obviously you don't say yes, but there's like a part of you that says, yeah, I want to quit. I want to quit. That's how I feel right now as a fan, as a Jets fan. Like, my coach is looking at me, do you want to quit? Like, there's a part of me that says, yeah, I want to quit being a Jets fan. I'm not going to do it, but I kind of do. Like, there's a part of me, at least, that wants to quit. Like, this is just, I had them going 13-4 in the Super Bowl. That wasn't like just blind optimism. I was like, you have a top 5 defense, you have Aaron Rodgers, you have all-pro running back, all-pro wide receiver, you have another big monster on the outside of Mike Williams. Like, this is a legitimate team. This team is legitimate. Like, this is, like, I think the most talented roster or 2 in the NFL. And they're terrible. And I just, like, did we all just lead each other down the primrose path? Like, did we all just tell each other what we wanted to hear? Is it not that good of a team? Because, like,
that's what I'm seeing. So, for instance, some of the comments I'm seeing here live in the chat are asking ourselves: did we overrate players, or did we overrate Sauce? Did we overrate Garrett? Did we overrate these guys? Did we overrate the talent? Because it's not only us. To your point, there were roster rankings of NFL.com, The Athletic, ESPN, and all of them have the Jets minimum top 10, most had us top 5, and said, watch out for the Jets. And your same point, I haven't said this publicly before, but like my work has had conversations with me before the season about, Paul, do you think the Jets are going to do it? We'd love to send you to New Orleans to cover the Super Bowl. And I'm like, I can't wait to cover the Jets because that's where they're going to be. And I was firing that off, and I was feeling great about it for all of the reasons that we've already talked about here. And that's the thing that I'm kind of asking myself some of those same questions, because Sauce has looked terrible this year. Garrett Wilson, who, again, I kind of walked through it earlier, but like he said, it's the quarterback. I don't have anyone around me. Now, what's the excuse for Garrett Wilson that's supposed to be making the superstar jump, and he's making mistakes like this where it's bouncing off his chest, or it's this mistake or that mistake? And again, it's not all Garrett Wilson. That's not the reason the Jets are 2-5 in itself. But in this particular case, we talk about the little mistakes. It's a guy that we thought was going to be, when Justin Jefferson said, I'm not Garrett Wilson, all of us Jet fans took personal offense to that. Like, hey, Justin, who the hell do you think you are, buddy? Garrett Wilson's pretty good. And then we're seeing Garrett Wilson like, well, actually, never mind. We apologize, Mr. Jefferson.
But it's like a regression, right? Like, look, I don't think Garrett Wilson sucks. I think he really is good. I don't think Sauce Gardner sucks. I think he's really good. I don't think Brees sucks. I think Brees Hall is really good. But they seem – Brees had a good week this week. But they seem to be regressing. Like, they seem to have all been better their first 2 years. Like, your third year is supposed to be your year that you really, really become that player. And they seem to be regressing, to me at least. Like, I don't know. Like, I was all for it when they drafted Sauce. I wanted Thibodeau more than anything in the world.
I did too. We're on the same boat, Gary. I wanted KT all day long and twice on Sunday. And I thought, based on 49ers people I talked to, because, when Jets hire coaches, you try to get an understanding. I don't know. I didn't know Saleh personally. I'm like, let me talk to some 49ers people. Hey, 49ers people, do you guys ever take corner side? They're like, no, not part of the system. We don't do it. I'm like, okay. I said, hey, by the way, just because, I don't know if we would take a running back in the second round, but just for shits and giggles, do you guys take running back side? No, we don't. And I'm like, oh, okay. So no corner, no running back. That's the only thing I knew. Okay. 4th overall pick, Sauce Gardner went, oh, no shit. Brees Hall, trade up. Brees Hall went, holy fuck, what the hell? I'm like, oh, okay. What the fuck do I know? I was just trying to talk to people, and they were doing all these things left and right. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And look at this. It's just, It's been incredibly frustrating, man, that the talent is there. So we finally get it. That's just what it feels like as a Jets fan, as I'm getting kicked in the testicles on a year to year basis. Like last year, we're like, ah, fuck, look, the defense, especially everything's right. All we need is Rodgers. Now we get Rodgers. They're like, ah, fuck, actually, special team sucks and the defense is inconsistent. You're like, oh, okay. So every year you think you have the right things put in the jar, then another thing fucks up. So you can never have everything all together at once. We have all the talent, but now they're individually talented on a superstar dream team, but as a team together, they're not vibing. It just it's incredibly frustrating from that perspective.
It's I can't believe my Jets season and my Mets season ended on the same day, right? Like I look at my Mets, I'm like, this team sucks. It's a fairy tale. Like this team's not that good. I look at the Jets, I'm like, this is a great team. I don't understand how this.
So can't they turn it around? You know what I mean? Like Hassan Reddick back and Devontae Adams is going to get more involved, and you play the fucking Patriots for God's sakes coming up in a couple of days. Like, it feels like they just need one. And then it hits. That's why I thought this one could be so important. You win this, you're 3-4, and we have all the vibes of, oh shit, we got Hassan Reddick earlier today. Oh shit, we got Devontae Adams. And then you beat the Patriots, and you coulda, shoulda, woulda been 4-4. Now it just feels slightly different now, obviously, because you're 2-5. You beat the Patriots, you're still 3-5, and then you got to play the Texans on a short week. So I still feel like it's there. I know a lot of people are writing the epitaph right now of the Jets season, and it's hard to defend based on losing 4 in a row. But like with everything that's here, it still feels like it's possible that they can still figure this thing out.
I always give you a boxing analogy, right?
Sure. Yeah, I appreciate this.
After the Buffalo loss, I would have looked at my fighter in the face and said, one more round like that, I'm stopping the fight. Okay. Then they went out and did this. What do I got to do? I got to take your mouthpiece out, sit down, champ. We're done. I'm stopping the fight. Like, I mean, do we have a chance? I don't know how you tell me that team that you just saw,
yeah,
has a chance. I don't like. You got to go 8-2 from here on out to make the playoffs, most likely.
Yeah, I think 10 wins is a guarantee to me.
Going 8-2. You already got a loss to Denver, so you're gonna lose a tiebreaker to them. You got a loss to now Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have a tiebreaker loss to them.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to get to 10. So that means you got to go 8-2. Does that team that you saw today look like they can go 8-2,
or win the division? And then if you win the division, fuck the wild card. So if we look at it from that perspective, right? The Patriots lose, they suck. They lost to Jacksonville, wipe them off the board. Okay, Miami loses to Indianapolis. They're technically, I think, I don't have the standing. Actually, let me double check because I'm pretty sure Dolphins are ahead of us from some weird thing. Although it doesn't really matter because we're going to play them twice anyway. But for shits and giggles, let's see. Are they above us right now? Yeah, for some weird, strange tiebreaker, and they have a bye week. I think it's winning percentage probably. They're above the New York Jets right now. So okay, but the Dolphins lost to Indianapolis. So the Jets still got Buffalo. They got the Dolphins twice, and they got the Patriots again. Like, what if we just say, fuck this? Let's win the division. And it doesn't who gives a flying shit what all these other things are. And there's the path. Home playoff game. Division. AFC East. Gary?
You're sending your fighter back out after that last round? You've lost 4 rounds in a row, and that's what he just showed you. You're going to send him back out there for another round?
Hey, if before this fight I watched Rocky Balboa, he lost a couple of rounds in there, and then he fucking figured it out, right?
He competed, though. Show me you want to compete in this, and I'll send you back out for another round. If you show me that, I can't keep
15-6. 15-6. It was there. If I could take a picture, and I just say, you know what, the game's over. Thanks, everybody. God bless. 15-6. 2-score lead with the ball. Under 2 minutes to go. The Jets could have just run the clock out and just said, fuck this. We'll just, thank you. God bless everybody. We're just going into the half. They could have, should have, would have done that. They did not. Aaron Rodgers got greedy. But if they do that and they get the ball in the second half and they have the chance for the kill shot of a 3-score lead, like, okay, everything's different. But unfortunately, because of the results, they're like, fuck this. This team fucking blew it. But
I was optimistic when we were 2-2 and everyone said, okay, we're 2-2 and 4 rounds into a 17 round fight. We're okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way anymore, Paul. Like, I feel like this is over with. Like, I feel like we're going to be on Shedeur Sanders, Carson Beck, Cam Ward. Like, what do we like here? That's why I feel that we are.
Which again, it's hard for me to disagree with anyone's takes out there. I know everyone's saying I've lost it. I believe right now. I mean, I guess I can check. I haven't Googled this website this season, and I really didn't want to start today, but I think everyone knows what I'm talking about here. Let me see. Okay, let's go to tankathon.com. Oh boy. Yeah, if the season ended today, the Jets would have a top 5 pick in the 2025 NFL draft. That is
my pick to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's a website. I'm going to be honest. I didn't plan on Googling anytime soon, to be frank. So again, I understand why people are calling me crazy and bonkers. But the team that has the number 1 pick right now is the team we play next week. That is the 1-6 New England Patriots, who are already beat with a rusty wrench. So that's Aaron Rodgers said it tonight. To go on this run, it's got to start with one. How do you eat an elephant, Gary? One bite at a time, motherfucker. One bite at a time. So chip.
I forget who it was, right? I think it was Kevin Millar or Trot Nixon or something like that from the Red Sox team that came back to beat the Yankees. And he said, look, we can win today. If I looked at it as we have to win 4 in a row, that's too much. But we could win today. Let's just win today, and then tomorrow we'll take care of tomorrow. So I guess that's like what Rodgers said. Like, look, to win 8-2, that seems like a lot. Like, let's just win this week, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah. So let's see. Obviously, we have a long, painful week to get from right now to the Patriots game with a lot of headlines and shows in between. But that's got to be the plan, basically, is let's beat New England. Let's sweep their ass for the first time, basically this century. I think the last time we did was like the year 2000. So, it was a long-ass time ago. So beat them with a broom. Feel a little bit better about it, even though they are, again, currently projected to have the number 1 pick in the 2025 NFL draft. But beat their ass and just go one game at a time. That's it.
Sorry. You made me feel a little bit better, Paul.
A
little bit
God
better.
Bless. Okay.
So I'm going to go to bed now because you made me feel a little better.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to try to do the same here very shortly. But, Gary, I always appreciate your calls. It's always thought-provoking, and I always appreciate the boxing analogies too. Thanks,
and I appreciate it. I want to give you and the rest of Jet YouTube.
Yeah.
After yesterday, I was listening to Longhorn YouTube, and I love the Longhorns as much as I love my Jets. But Longhorn YouTube sucks. Like, there's no one entertaining. They're saying, "Oh, good job, Georgia. Georgia's a good team." It's like, I don't want to hear this right now. I want, right? I appreciate you guys. You guys, after a loss like that, you bring the fire, and you're still entertaining, and you actually made me feel better. Like, listening to Orange Bloods yesterday made me think, "Oh, Georgia is the best team in the country. We did okay." Like, because that's like. You guys made me feel better. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
there you go. I love it. Well, Gary, get some sleep, buddy. And, well, again, I'll be back on, and it's now 5 hours for Boy Green Day with my father, so that should be a good show. Let's go back to the phone lines. We got our boy Sharif here on the show.
My God, salute, man. Listen, I probably can make that brother feel good. I see where you coming from.
Yeah.
We suck right now, man. We not supposed to.
No, we're not.
Can't blame Salah no more. This is the proof that Salah wasn't the problem neither.
Do tell.
Yeah, this is solid proof. But the problem is, man, is the owner, Woody Johnson. He has to sell out. He needs to go. He's horrible. He's horrible. We will make the playoffs, man.
There you go.
We sweep Miami after we sweep New England.
Okay.
Beat that tiebreaker with Buffalo. Like you said, we conquer our division. We should be all right.
For sure.
That's what I see. That's what we got. That's all we got now.
That's the path.
For real.
I agree.
Yeah.
Again, we don't know what Miami's going to be. Tua maybe comes back next week, but how long does he stay healthy? New England, you sweep. Buffalo, you get a chance to even it. Yeah.
Tua ain't going to be the same. So. That's a head injury, bro. He ain't going to be the same.
Yeah, I think it's only going to take one more whack at the pinata, and I think he's going to be done so.
I really don't feel. I think he should chill, yo, because his joint's serious. But
very much so. Yeah.
Getting Riddick coming is going to strengthen. It's going to apply a lot of pressure because we need it. Our secondary is very weak right now. Riddick is going to be a game changer. He came at the right time. He's going to be a game changer on applying pressure. Him and McDonald at the end, they going. I think that's going to cause a lot of a lot of hell for teams.
For sure. We'll see when he comes. He'll technically return to the building tomorrow, but I'm curious how quickly he could get into game shape so he can be ready to go because we need him ASAP.
Game shape, but not his ass better be ready. It don't even matter.
That's true. Round is the shape. Roll your ass in there.
Mentally,
I like that.
Again, man, football is 90% mental, 10% physical. I played it most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
We in mental quicksand right now. That's what's wrong with the Jets.
Yeah.
Everybody, what's wrong? What's going on? And another thing I want to say, man, and I want everybody to understand, it's too late, but I'm sick of the Jets fans. Y'all not Jets fans, man. All you negative guys, even the ones with the podcasts, I'm not gonna say no names. I ain't no backbiter, bro. But even the one with the podcasts that's angry and always want to speak negative things into existence. We speak the freaking English language. It is a spell language. It will manifest. That's why it's called spelling.
Wow. I never thought about that.
It will manifest. We have too many negative so-called Jets fans. I'm sick of them, bro. I'm sick of them. In my book, they're not Jets fans. Wow. I'm born in Long Island, raised in Newark, New Jersey. I got the right to say it. I'm born a Jets fan. In Mineola, Village of Mineola, they probably wrap me with a Jets blanket, like they do in Pittsburgh with the Steelers when they have. You understand? I got the right to say y'all need to stop being so negative, man. Y'all bringing bad Hebe. The owner does enough. The fans, man, y'all got to get in a positive mind frame and speak positive things. And look how me and Boy Green, I'm glad you came at it because that's what I was going to say anyway. We gotta look at the bright side, bro. We got our ass kicked tonight, man, and it's our fault.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And again, when I say we can't blame Robert Saleh no more, you can't blame Brick, you can't blame Downing, we can't blame what's the guy, Aaron Rodgers' boy, he just demoted.
Devontae?
No, that just got demoted. The coaches. I'm talking about coaching.
Oh, Hackett. Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett.
You can't blame Hackett. You can't. It's the players, man. Like I just seen Mosley and all them talking, Breece Hall and them and Adams talk, man. They starting on they're getting sicker saying the same thing every week.
Sure. Yeah.
It's them, bro. The defense got to stop the run. I don't know. They got to do something, man. But our offense going to get there, bro. That stuff going to take time, and we all right. Garrett Wilson made a big mistake trying not catching with his hands, trying to catch with his pads. That changed the game. The field goal kicker got to go.
Zerline.
He got to go. He has to get benched. We need to be looking for one of them ASAP. He got to go. Too many misses. His joints getting blocked now. Like he got to go.
Yeah.
But we gonna slide in, man.
I like that.
We gonna slide in. Slide in.
The positive vibe, Sharif. We need it.
Yeah,
right
bro.
Now.
Yeah, man. Winning streak though. Ain't no 8 out of 2. I mean 2 out of 8. But we gotta go. We can't lose no more. Looking at our schedule, our toughest team is the Texans and Buffalo.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, those are the two on the schedule. Besides that, you got like shitty teams like Jacksonville. You got New England, and Miami. Obviously, we already talked about. So, like, you got all kinds of games. Damn straight.
We got to spank them all. We got to spank them all, bro. Yeah.
What's going on?
Bro. I'll see you in the morning, man.
Sounds good. Thank you, Sharif, for joining us. Damn straight, baby. Okay, there we go. I love it. Okay, we're getting some love. Okay, on Sharif Truth. I would just say on Woody Johnson real quick. We could blame him for a lot of stuff. I'm sure. I'm going to give Woody Johnson a lot of love because I must have bit my tongue earlier. So every once in a while, I do something stupid with my talking. Excuse me. Yeah. Woody Johnson closed the Devontae Adams trade by choosing to be willing to eat the rest of the contract for this year. The reason why other teams weren't involved were they weren't willing to do it. So shout out to Woody Johnson. Number 2, Hassan Reddick. Him coming in is Woody Johnson and Hassan Reddick and his agent Drew Rosenhaus figuring out the intermediate stuff to bring him in. So I will choose to give a tip of the cap to Woody Johnson. And again, a lot of people could complain about all kinds of things about Woody, and I allow you, not that you need my permission, I allow you to have those feelings if you'd like to have them. To me, I'm going to give gratitude and appreciation. Now, that doesn't guarantee Jets wins. Obviously, we just saw tonight, but he's going all in with this team. He has given them all the pieces, and then it's up to them to figure it out. It's up to the coaches. It's up to the people that he's hired. So I just want to make sure that is clear. Let's go back to the phone lines. We got Zach here on the show. What's up, Zach?
Hey, how we doing, Paul? I'm usually a lurker, so cool to be able to call in. I'm driving home right now, so thank you for doing this, man.
Of course. Yeah, man.
So to play off of what you just said, I want to know your thoughts. How do you feel about Woody overstepping Joe D? We haven't heard nothing from him saying anything about Robert Saleh, the trade, anything at all. Then the Reddick situation. I just want to know how you feel about that. First off.
Yeah, it's a great question because obviously, as we've heard from Robert Saleh being fired in the first place and how it's come out that Woody informed Joe Douglas he was firing Saleh. He didn't really ask his opinion. He's just sharing the message. So he did overstep him. That's the power of an owner. We will hear from Joe Douglas. That is, let me make sure. I believe the NFL trade deadline is November 5th. So that is 1, 2. So we're 2 weeks away. So today's the 21st. It's not this week. It's not next week. It's the week after that is when Joe Douglas normally speaks. That is after the NFL trade deadline. So normally we, the generic media, will save all of those questions of the Saleh, wherever the state of the team is and things of that nature. So we'll have to wait for those Joe Douglas questions there. But, I'm not surprised that Woody let me rephrase it. I was surprised when I got the ding, Robert Saleh fired. I went, what the hell? I was like, whoa, okay. That news surprised me. But it didn't surprise me that Woody said, F this. He himself stepped over Joe Douglas because Joe Douglas, I imagine, would have tried to save Saleh. He would have said, whoa, Woody, let's talk about this. Let's think about this before we just pull the trigger on this, and kind of articulate some of the points that I've mentioned before pre-Robert Saleh firing, that there has never been an interim head coach that's won the Super Bowl. Are we sure we want to pull the trigger on this? Is this going to change the direction of the team? Is this going to save the team? So I imagine Joe Douglas would have pulled Woody into a side room if he asked his opinion on it, said, whoa, let's kind of walk through this. Obviously, Woody did not do that outside of just telling JD that it was happening. So, yeah, it's interesting. But again, Woody owns a team. He has the power to do that. And if he believes that Saleh was not the guy, then Ulbrich is our best chance because he was the only other guy really worthy, in my opinion, of being a legitimate interim head coach that has aspirations to actually be an NFL head coach at some other point. So it's a good question. We haven't heard from it. And again, we won't hear from Joe Douglas in a couple of weeks, but it's a really good question.
Thank you. Yeah, I would say the vibes were high today going in it, but then after that, I would say Garrett Wilson pick, we kind of died down. I don't know what's going on. I love JD, but I just think some stuff like evaluating players, I don't understand the D-line shortage, why we didn't re-sign some of them. I'm kind of frustrated with that. A whole shebang bam.
Sure. Yeah. It's understandable. Again, we lost a lot of dudes. Obviously, JFM traded away. Quentin Jefferson left. Bryce Huff left. I mean, they made a lot of decisions with the defensive line rotation that currently, outside of Will McDonald, so tip of the cap there, he's got 8 sacks. He's been awesome. But outside of him, there has, and Quentin Williams, obviously, for what he is, besides those two, put those in a pocket, the rest of the defensive line hasn't held their water. And now we're going to have to rely on superhero coming in, which is Hassan Reddick returning at some point to wear the cape and see if he can deliver. And we'll see if he's going to be Superman or Clark Kent.
That's true. Awesome, man. Well, have a great night. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you, Zach, for calling in. I appreciate it. I know we get a lot of people that either call into the show for the first time or call into the show often. Either way, we appreciate it. Well, folks, I'm going to be back on live in 5 hours. So I'm going to take a quick nap, and then we'll be back on. My father will join me for Boy Green Daily. But I do want to end with a couple of nuggets, and it is this. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the 400 people live at 2 a.m. You people are crazy. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. We're live every single day at 7:30 in the morning talking about this New York Jets team, baby. We always will be. And 2 hours after the final whistle as well. Couple of things. To me, again, the momentum shifting thing in this game was the end of the first half and then midway through the third quarter. The Garrett Wilson doink pick that resulted in a touchdown ultimately, and Aaron Rodgers getting too damn greedy, and that happening as well. At the end of the first half of the pick, he should have just been a little more mindful, been a little bit more conservative, try to see if he can inch it away, and he was too damn aggressive. Too damn aggressive. And that cost him. So everything is still in front of this New York Jets team. We'll also answer, I see we have a couple of super chats, and I'll answer those as well before I go. Everything is still in front of this Jets team. It just became a lot more difficult. Your margin for error is slimmer. If the Jets were not 2-5, they were 3-4, 4-4, 5-4. You start flipping the record around. You say, or 5-2, whatever flip it around. If you would have been in this position, you would have been like, oh, we can afford a loss here. Oh, we can afford a loss here, there, or anywhere. The Jets can no longer afford those losses. We talked about it earlier with the AFC head-to-head tiebreakers, which are the number one tie. For folks who don't know that, I don't like to assume. The number one tiebreaker in playoffs is head-to-head. If the Jets and Steelers have the same record at the end of the year, Steelers get in, Jets don't. If the Jets have the same record as the Denver Broncos at the end of the year, Denver gets in, Jets don't. The number one tiebreaker, is head-to-head. If that is irrelevant, right? Jets don't play the Bengals this year. So obviously the tiebreaker doesn't matter. The next tiebreaker is conference. How did you do in the AFC? Well, the Jets have lost to Denver. The Jets have lost to Pittsburgh. The Jets have lost to Buffalo. You know what I mean? You start going through those, you're like, and you're starting to add those up. You're like, oh boy. Those are your three, by the way. They also lost to Minnesota and San Francisco. That's where we get difficult. To me, if the Jets are going to make the playoffs, put the AFC East aside, because obviously it looks very difficult. The Jets are 3.5 back of Buffalo. To get to the playoffs, you have to win 10. That is a guaranteed number to me. If you get 10 wins, you're in the playoffs. I still think that's true. Obviously, it could get a little complicated if Steelers have 10, Denver has 10, and things of that nature. But my gut tells me if the Jets get to 10 wins in this expanded playoff world where 7 teams make it from each side, I believe that will be good enough to make it. If you don't get 10, you're going to need help, whether you have 9 or you're trying to do some funky stuff with the division. That's my take. Let's get to your super chats real quick. We got the number one Austrian Jets fan, baby. Every time we get a super chat, we hear from my daughter, Zariah Luna, who, by the way, I miss dearly. I haven't seen her in a few days, spending time with my dad down here in Atlanta. I can't wait to hold my daughter in my arms. But Zariah Luna, I will hear you in spirit right now.
Wow.
Our number one Austrian Jets fan says, as my math teacher always said, quote, despite apparent hopelessness, we keep going. Go Jets. And I will tell you, whether win, loss, or in some crazy world we eventually get a tie, that'll be a weird post-game show, we're always going to be here for this show doing Boy Green Dailies. So I appreciate you guys always sticking with us. So our number one Austrian Jets fan, God bless you, sir. God bless you. Let's go to Sharif. Appreciate the super chat, my friend, and also calling in tonight. Zariah Luna.
Wow.
Something about Woody ain't right. The silence of the GM is proof. As far as Adams and Reddick goes, it's all part of the NFL script. Joe Douglas probably should have spoke or should speak more recently than he's obligated to speak. Again, he is set to speak basically halfway through the season, which normally ends up being about the NFL trade deadline. But you're right, Sharif. Joe Douglas probably should have stepped up to the plate to speak about Saleh, Devontae Adams, Hassan Reddick. Even though that news is more recent, it would be nice if he would have chosen to speak. I agree with those commentaries. He doesn't have to, which I guess is what he can hide behind. So fair enough. Again, the New York Jets are 2-5. It's disgusting. I hate that I heard from Aaron Rodgers after the game that the team lacked fire and fight and chutzpah because us fans had the chutzpah and things of that nature. So that to me is disappointing, but we'll talk about that tomorrow morning. By the way, I have Al's Ghost coming in. Raiders fans here. Devontae's past his prime, fellas. Okay. We have no idea. Come on. For anyone who expected, like, friggin', I don't know, 15 catches for 150 yards and God knows what from Devontae tonight, we're smoking crack. Devontae, it's going to take time. I have no idea what Devontae is. Is he past his prime? Sure. He's 31, going to turn 32. But I still think there's plenty of juice left in that can. We'll see if that's true. But, like, if we're all basing it off of what we saw tonight, whether it was great or bad, I think that's ridiculous. There's plenty of time. Let's see what happens. Plenty of time to evaluate the Devontae Adams script. We'll see. Malzgo says the juice is sour. Well, I guess we'll taste the juice. That sounds very weird at 2 a.m. That means it's time to go. Talking about drinking someone else's juice. But the point is this. We can't overreact to the Devontae thing here or Hassan Reddick like if he shows up against the Patriots. Like, it's not enough of a sample size. We'll see what he is with the New York Jets and being reinvigorated with his old partner, Aaron Rodgers. Guys, thanks for tuning in to this incredibly late show. Again, I will be back on live in 5 hours, taking a quick nap, and I'll be back on my father at our other office over there. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a doozy. Appreciate the support. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe, and spread the gospel of Boy Green Daily. Aaron Rodgers said last season, we'll end on this, the night is darkest before the dawn. It is not over yet. The night is darkest before the dawn. And it is pretty damn dark right now at 2 and 5. But it ain't over yet. Keep that in mind. We'll see you guys in a couple hours for Boy Green Daily. God bless. Take care. We'll see you.